Now the thing is, this is my cope by all accounts. I was thinking like, is it trying to mimic old games? Because it used to take ages to save on the Game Boy and the SNES too. It really did took freaking ages.
No.
And I was thinking, oh no, that's just big brain. They're just making the saving experience the same as in the 80s so that people can enjoy it
Dave, that's
again.
your cope speaking. That's copium.
It really is.
Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of everyone's favorite podcast, the Critical Arcade Podcast. I'm your co-host, Nick.
And I'm Dave.
Hello, Dave.
Hello, Nick. You well?
Dave, you've been playing games for a very long time, right?
Yes, I'm a very old person, you're right. I have been playing since Sticks and Stones and Tic-Tac-Toe and all the other things. But yes, I've had quite a history playing video games. Why do you ask?
Were you there for the first ones? The NES. And, wait, no, NES wasn't the first ones.
I do, yeah. I like the idea you went straight to NES. It's like the first era of gaming.
It's not.
Like Super Mario. It is, yeah.
I know it's
but
not.
I was
Pong.
for the era
Were
of
you
NES.
there for Pong?
I dabbled in a handful of Pong in my time. I can't say I was there when that came out. I'm pretty sure I wasn't born then either. I think that was early 80s, maybe even the end of 70s. I'm not entirely sure. But yes, I've played many an old game. Pong, Pac-Man, Centipede, Asteroids, all that fun stuff.
Okay, so when games were still in the infancy. Wait a minute, were you there for the video game crash of 80 whatever? When E.T. came out.
No, I don't think I was quite out there, and if I was like 1 or 2, so I wasn't that into gaming yet. I'm sure, knowing me, it was on my I was looking into it as a child for my baby, that gaming was my type of habit. But no, I don't think the E.T. landfill and stuff like that wasn't quite my era of gaming generation.
So
Where are you going? Like, I feel old now, and I feel like...
I'm sorry.
Go on.
No, I wanted to try and figure out what were some of the earliest games you have played.
Ooh, and that is a fun question. NES, I have a lot of fun history playing the NES games, obviously. Ice Climber, Duck Hunt, Mario Brothers. Before then, it was mainly really old school PC games, like Asteroids and...
Okay.
There was like a Banana Man game where you just threw explosive bananas at each other. Like, I had a kind of a long I probably started gaming on the PC before the NES. Really old, crappy PC games.
Trying to figure out if you played the original versions of this week's game at all.
The very original for the NES, no.
Yes.
Unfortunately, didn't actually have a big fan base in Western cultures.
No way.
East, yeah. But no, It didn't actually hit its stride much in the West when this came out.
How about you tell listeners what we played this week, and then we can have a big old conversation.
Well, this week is, as Nick's kind of just highlighted upon, this is, we're playing the remake, or HD-2D Remake of Dragon Quest 1 and 2, which has actually been remade before from the NES versions to the SNES versions, just to increase the fidelity a bit. So this is actually the second time they've been remade, I think.
Yeah, but instead of 4 years later, it's now 40 years later.
Yes, something along those lines. Yeah, it's a great deal of time later, which is great because big JRPG fan. I loved the original games as a kid. I played 3 first, which is weird because
you're not talking about these remakes. You're talking about way back when.
I played the Game Boy Color version, which I think was the SNES version.
Whoa.
Or it had its own release on the Game Boy Color. It was around that ballpark. I played 3 on the Game Boy Color, and that was my first foray into the Dragon Quest kind of games. Because I was into Final Fantasy. No, I think this was before Final Fantasy, though. Not the Game Boy games, when Final Fantasy got big. But yeah, I've got a long history. It was one of those games for the Game Boy. Long trips in the car, going through hundreds and hundreds of quids worth of batteries, and just slogging through a game that just took an infinite amount of time to kind of get done. But it was great time, the whole thing.
I was about to say, it might have taken a long time, but you enjoyed every moment of it, I'm sure.
I don't envy the amount of money my parents had to buy batteries. Like, I still remember petrol stations, everything, every single time. Oh, we need more batteries. And of course, anything to keep your kids quiet for hours on end is of like a go-to.
Oh,
right?
I get it now. The amount of time my kids have spent on our Nintendo Switch, I can totally imagine the amount of batteries parents must have spent.
Yeah. You're getting those big long ones where you're like 25, 20, or 26, 28 in a, you need the longevity of a long car drive.
Yeah.
No, it was good times. And very weirdly, as I know we talked about this last time, I actually played it in the right order, which is very confusing in the West, because the right order to play Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 is 3, 1, 2. Which is confusing.
Okay. Yes, it is confused. It is confusing because I think a couple of years ago or last year, Square Enix decided to start remaking the earliest Dragon Quest games, and they started with 3, which made no sense to me.
Yeah, I never understood why they don't ever just go, by the way, we're renaming this 1 so it could be chronological. They always keep it to, because Final Fantasy did the same thing. Like, Final Fantasy 3 is Final Fantasy 6 or something like that. I forget which way around it goes.
Yeah.
And they do it because it happened in the East and everybody was fine with it. And then it came over to the West and everyone's like, what the hell's going on? Why isn't it? It's like Star Wars, like starting at episode 4. It's like, why is Dragon Quest starting at 3? But
why is A New Hope episode 4? Isn't that the first one?
Yes, New Hope. Yeah, A New Hope is episode 4, which everybody calls George Lucas big brain move, genius. But part of me does think, God, can you just make it 1, 2, 3, 4? Like, it's the whole Xbox console thing all over again.
Yeah.
Stop confusing me with which ones they are and just tell me which one I should play next. But number 3 is the beginning of the Erdrick trilogy, which then 1 and 2 are then the
continuations of those same story.
Yeah, they're the same family tree. You're the relatives of the great hero.
I see. So the lineage continues.
Yeah, so it's kind
fighting
of
the same
cool
evil
idea.
in the same bloodline.
Yes, exactly. So you've got the hero blood running through you fundamentally. Which is kind of handy because I did it in that I did it accidentally that way, so I actually know the stories quite well. And again, picking them up again is always a great time because, again, ladies and gents, I'm going to be saying this all through rose-tinted glasses. I love JRPGs. I love Dragon Quest. I enjoy Square Enix games.
Yeah.
So that's
great. That's perfect. We love rose-tinted glasses.
No, exactly. And in Japan, when a Dragon Quest game, I'm sure I told you this once before, when a Dragon Quest, the newer series of games come out, the majority of businesses give them a day off. Because it's such a big thing.
That is still insane to me.
Can you imagine a public holiday for a video game? It's crazy.
Because the biggest video game of the past couple of years have been released. I cannot imagine that. I had a couple of bosses who also played video games, but take a public holiday because it released? No. Yeah. That is insane.
Can you imagine like the water cooler conversation the next day? Like all of you in the office were off playing a game and then you get to come back and say, oh, how far did you get? Or did you... That must have been kind of cool. There's no doubt. That would have been a really fun day at the office.
Yeah. And it's going to happen once Dragon Quest 12 releases.
It's possible. I'm sure in Japan, of course. I'd love the West to do it, but no, we're all about money and we need to make that cheese, don't we? Or cheddar, or whatever young people say nowadays. But I do... Again, I'm a big fan of the East and Japan and Korea and all the fun things. They have so much more fun out there. When this game released...
They do!
This game released.
I've noticed this. I work with a couple of Americans. And it's a very work-centered culture. They've got a very work-centered culture.
Yeah, very true, very true.
No offense to anyone who's listening to this in the US. US has a great many things, but I'd rather work like the Europeans do.
Yes, it is a bit nicer, there's no doubt, being from Europe.
Not trying to say that Japanese don't work themselves.
Oh, no, Japanese work very hard. They're kind of got a really strange problem with salary men and working a little too hard at times, by all accounts. But yeah, the Americans do.
What were we getting at?
I was pointing out that the East seem to have a lot more fun with their videos compared to us Westerns, right?
Yeah.
It's because there's a I think it's a store brand of some sort called Tamara. I'm probably saying that wrong. And in regards to the release date of this, they actually housed a competition for kids and family members to go around all their shops' location and hunt down mini medals. Mini medals being those little collectible things found in almost all Dragon Quest games. And if you collected them all with your kids and took photos and scans and stuff, you'd just win prizes like a plushy slime or a cool cardboard cut.
Was this for this release, Dragon Quest 1 and
Yes,
2
yes,
remake?
this was just for this release. This was just for the remake.
Hell yeah.
It's so much... it's so much...
That's great. That's great.
You can organise fun there.
Yes, you can. It also, just by listening to the competition, it encourages parents and kids to spend time together outside.
Yeah, exactly. And it being a family thing and everybody getting in on it. And it's not
excellent.
Just... Yeah, it makes me sad to see how much more, like you said, making family memories and stuff in regards to doing a Dragon Quest day and going out and collecting these things. Ugh. It's sad we don't get more of that this side of the border, so to speak.
It is. I'm sure we will one day.
But it's one of those things people ask, can you play 1 and 2 without playing 3? And I'd say yes. The story isn't like, well, if you don't know what happened in the past, then you do not understand. Most of the times the bad guys are kind of new or just have a connection to the old bad guy.
Yeah.
It's not like canon you need to know. Because there's a good few years through the generations of actual children.
Yes, a couple of generations.
And
so, speaking of story, how about we
Yeah.
jump into narrative, and we
By
can
all
kind
means,
of answer this question anyway.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gents, Dave is a Dragon Quest veteran, while I am a Dragon Quest rookie, a newbie.
Yeah.
I have.
He doesn't know the pains.
I've played Dragon Quest 11S Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition for an episode.
Yeah.
I've not played Dragon Quest 3. This is the only other Dragon Quest that I have played.
Which is actually quite a shock, because Dragon Quest games, there were so many of them. Not just the JRPGs. There's the Heroes thing that's like Destiny Warriors. You've got the Joker series, which is kind of like a Pokemon thing.
There's Dragon Quest Builders.
Of course, I forgot about Builders, the whole Minecraft type. Dragon Quest games, there were so many of them. And that's only the ones we know in the West.
Monsters, I think, is another one.
There's online ones. I know there's mobile versions of the games. There's a tactics game, I remember.
Dragon Quest as a franchise is huge.
It is. It's a beefy game franchise, no doubt.
All right, the narrative. You mentioned earlier that you don't think you need to play Dragon Quest 3 to play Dragon Quest 1 and 2.
No, not at all.
Okay. From my perspective, I would agree with you. I started with the Dragon Quest 1, and it gave me a lowdown of what happened in, I'm assuming, Dragon Quest 3.
Correct, yes, it does, yes.
Which is all you need to get started.
Yeah. To be honest with you, again, the stories as they develop are, like Dragon Quest 3, the story is relatively simple. Dragon Quest 1, the story is relatively simple. Dragon Quest 2, the story kind of gets more fleshed out with emotions and stuff like that. So, like I said, you really don't need to know much about Dragon Quest 3 apart from you're the hero, there's a bad guy, you go and beat the bad guy, but have to pick up some items along the way. It's kind of like the story by all accounts. That's it.
That is exactly what Dragon Quest 1 feels like.
Yes, it is. It is. Which, from a big nerdy perspective, I kind of love, because it reminds me of the Game Boy and the NES version of games when again, like you were saying, this literally only has one playable character, the hero. It's just you in Dragon Quest 1. It's just you nodding and saying yes or no.
Not just that. Not just that, but it's got literally one objective.
Yeah.
It gets rinsed and repeated the entire time. Go here and do this.
But I do
go again here, fight this. Go here, talk to this person. That's right. It.
Collect this thing.
Yes.
I was playing these games and I was thinking to myself, what would someone new think of the game throws, like what you have to go through? Is this engaging enough for someone who was younger that they want to complete it and see it through? And I found that difficult because I've got the tinted glasses, because I kind of loved seeing the development in these two games, you get to see the jump from 1 to 2, and it's a big jump.
Yep.
You can see where the funding went up, and you got a full cast of characters now, and that's so cool. There's like a history thing to kind of see the jump. But I must admit, the first game, and this is going to be a very strange one. It's the only time I realized that all the Dragon Quests actually have some of the same narrative, apart from good guy versus bad guy. The collecting the thief's key, the bottomless pot, upgrading the thief's key to a magic key, and stuff like that. Only playing these games simultaneously at the same time did I realize they have the same, like, those same steps in nearly every single Dragon Quest game. The getting the key, needing the key to unlock doors, to get a better key to unlock another door.
Oh.
And I was like, whoa, how did I not notice this in all the other Dragon Quests? Because it is the same thing. Happens in...
Really? So that happens in quite a number of Dragon Quest
I'm fairly confident it's nearly all of them. To some degree.
Whoa.
Some of them aren't strong, like, narrative keys. You must get the key before you... But the narrative always throws in the thief's key, and there's the bottomless pot, which is often used to remove an ocean or a river in regards to getting to the bottom of it.
Goodness.
I was only playing these. I realized they use that. It's kind of like a nod to all the other games. They use it in every version of it.
As someone looking at this franchise from the outside, that's what this kind of feels like, right? Dragon Quest has, where Final Fantasy kind of feels like it's always moving forward to the next. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Dragon Quest feels like a franchise that keeps itself conservative, and it keeps staying the same way it is, because that's this is the comfort JRPG.
Yeah, it's very true. That's exactly right. It's not going to do big changes. It's not going to make it sci-fi all of a sudden or go to different. I agree. This is like the comfort food of JRPGs. This is the one you go.
in a very good way, not fast food comfort. Your mom's cooking comfort
that's
food.
It. Your hot pot or your meatloaf type scenario.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And by all accounts, they did, this being a remake, they didn't just make it prettier and, fancier looking and better pixels. They actually added elements. They fleshed out the story. They
did.
Filled in some plot holes as well, because people were like, how the hell did... So they put some love into the narrative as well to kind of make it a little bit more audience friendly and stuff like that.
Not just that, but I don't know if this was real. You can tell me, but did they also kind of enforce the ties between the first and second game?
Yes, I'd say so. Yes,
kind of make them more connected than they were.
Yeah, because I know that the third and the first one, the locations are almost identical.
Oh, really?
The towns, a lot of the towns, even a lot of the towers and stuff you go to are actually the same locations. It's only in the
You
third
think that
one,
was a limitation of the time?
I think, again, it's such a risky thing when you're just making, you haven't got the massive audience, you've just got the East and Japan, and they do love them.
Yeah.
So it's, especially when back in the day, it was so much more, you go one step out of line, you're broke, you're out, you're not baking. So I think they had to stay in the comfort zone just to keep their fan demographic and stuff like that. So I think that's why they kept a lot of the story just in the same places that you're comfortable with and you recognize and you feel. It was only later, like Final Fantasy and stuff, where they started going sci-fi and this one medieval and this one kids in a school that moves and stuff like that, where they actually got the, if this fails, we're not going to go bankrupt kind of mindset. So Dragon Quest did kind of stay in those lines quite a lot.
I see.
But like I say, Dragon Quest 1 is a fairly simple story. You just play the hero Erdrick. You've got to stop the Lord of the Underworld.
Now it's cliche.
Yes, exactly. Now it is cliche. And back in the day, we liked a good just light versus dark story. All TV was that. We had, Power Rangers and
this being the more conservative series, it being so cut and dry, black versus white, good versus evil, that's exactly what you want. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Dragon Quest 12 is going to be a big old story about good versus evil.
Yeah, it will be, but it's only now they actually started putting let's say more risque characters in it. They have different relationships. believe it or not, it's only recently they started putting coloured people in their games, by all accounts. And even different partnerships, be it homosexual or heterosexual, are now found in Dragon Quest games, which...
Oh, really?
Again, oh, yeah, no.
I didn't think they'd do that.
What was the latest one? There's kind of very flamboyant...
the latest Dragon Quest game.
Yeah, I think it's
Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD-2D Remake.
That's a very good point. I mean, the latest installment that isn't
11, right?
There you go, 11. Thank you. He's got his whole story is actually kind of cool. He's kind of like a more effeminate man who's actually the son of a general or colonel, I can't remember, and he's been exiled and then comes back and kind of builds back his relationship with his father because he's actually kind of a tough guy who just happens to be effeminate. So it's actually got it now tells kind of far more reaching and
great.
Yeah, but Dragon Quest 1, very just the stoic, good versus bad, travel from A, go to B, fight, win, yeah, you're the hero.
Nice, yeah, which is, again, I think it's exactly what people into Dragon Quest want.
Yeah, because this game was released in like the 80s, so that was, again, back in the day, parents were very scared about video games and like the narrative and the things kids were going to go down. You had to stick to good is better than bad, and good wins.
No, there were a couple of things part of the Satanic Panic, including Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh no, that makes a very good point.
Yeah.
And a lot of the bad guys in Dragon Quest are kind of demons. There's a whole demon race and stuff to them in regards to the bad guys you kill. They're kind of cute demons by all accounts, but they are there. And then there's Dragon Quest 2. Sorry, I just finished with one, sorry.
Dragon Quest 2. I played a bit of Dragon Quest 2 after I played a big bit of Dragon Quest 1, and I have to say, I much preferred Dragon Quest 2.
I was playing Dragon Quest 2, and it actually strangely reminded me of Lord of the Rings.
Oh, really?
You initially have to build a fellowship, right? You got to go, it's you got to go find the other prince, and then you got to go find the other princess, and then a mysterious fourth character that I don't know. It's new to these games, but it's kind of obvious who it's going to be. So you kind of build of course, they're all lineages of good old Erdrick as well. He had a few kids in his time, it would seem. Yeah. And then you have to form a party to take down the big bad. I forget what the big bad's
the big
called.
Dragon Lord.
That's it, the Dragon Lord. Which I can understand. That's a far more fleshed out story and kind of relatable story in games we have now, right?
Yeah. Not just that, but Dragon Quest 1, it being the first one, they kind of did the cut and paste. Hero saves the day from big evil dragon. In the second one, they could take some more. They could take some different steps.
Yes,
and now that you're not just a single person, but now a party, there are more personalities that can clash, that can converse.
Yeah, that's exactly, like I said, you could see this is where they had more free reign.
Yes.
Your characters had emotions, your characteristics. You had a band of 4. Back in the day it was only 3, but you had a band of 4 now. And there's tragedy. There's
only
like
3?
Back in the day there was only 3. You couldn't get the other princess. I won't give too many spoilers away. You couldn't get the other princess, and this is only in this version. The remade version gave you a 4th member that you could pick up again later on.
Wow.
Yeah, so
they changed quite a bit actually with this remake.
Yes, they really did. And because, again, like they say in the mission statement, they wanted to remake it, but they didn't just want the same thing for old fans to play. They wanted new things for the older fans to play. Thus, a new character to play. Underwater. There was no underwater realm in the original one. There was a whole underwater ocean floor story in this one that adds to the lore and the character building and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
They made a lot. They made kind of a lot of changes to this. And even like lot of
I was opening the world map and there was a big ocean and I thought, okay, I'm probably going to sail a lot.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very
true. And
now
you're telling me we're going underwater?
You need to fix your boat so that you can go underwater. Very like One Piece-esque.
Very One Piece, yeah. Going to Fishman Island. Hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, it is. They fleshed it out. This is, like you said, it's got a far bigger story. It's far more emotive. Be it 2 of the brothers and sisters, and they're fearful for one another. There's actually like death, like actual death, and like people, places being wiped out and killed in this.
the intro cutscene was
Right?
much more intense than the first Dragon Quest intro cutscene.
Exactly. This starts off on quite the kind of adult themes by all accounts, doesn't it? It's like,
They
damn.
introduce you. Erdrick's generations made 3 kingdoms.
Right.
And then one explodes immediately.
Yeah, it's just wiped out. And it's not wiped out, but everyone survived. It's pretty much gone. Like, the people are
it's
gone.
ruined. It is ruined.
But this is when they started up in
intense.
the game. They started
It's
actually
intense.
making, like I said, more of a Lord of the Rings, actual
Yeah.
stakes at hand, people actually dying.
Yes, actual
races,
stakes. Gotta love it.
races coming together and actually forming alliances that were never formed before. This is actually where they had narrative. And it plays out really well. It's a good time all round. And again, I love seeing playing the number 2 or 1 and then playing 2 and just seeing the difference, like the evolution of the game itself is such a fun thing from a big fan of the Dragon franchise anyway to actually watch.
Necessarily the game design. I'm not sure how many years apart were the original Dragon Quest 1 and 2. It can't have been much.
know.
Maybe
That's
a
a very
year
good
or
point.
2 between them.
I would have said a year or 2, but it's granted, back in the day, game development sometimes took a really long time, and especially Dragon Quest, became such a fan favorite that they really couldn't afford messing up. Because there are a few bad Dragon Quest games that did not go down well.
Really?
They're mainly not the JRPGs, but a lot of some of the other ones really did flop pretty hard.
Oh, okay.
The game, the story in 2 is just so much more fleshed out. There is secret characters, it's underwater. It's very more, like I said, it did remind me of Lord of the Rings. You are taking on the big bad. People are dying. If you do not win, people will die. The world will kind of end. This is a big bad. And it's grown up. It grows up with you as the story goes on. I think, you can hear that I'm glazing it so much.
Yes,
I enjoyed
yes.
it. So what, did you enjoy the story as much as I did, or was it?
I don't think I did.
Well,
it's not because I didn't enjoy the story. I just think it's because the Dragon Quest franchise, all these stories are so ingrained with your person, with who Dave is, that I don't think it's possible for me to enjoy these stories as much as you've enjoyed them, especially in Dragon Quest 3.
Very true.
It's something special when you get a game so intertwined in your personality, in your upbringing, your growth, that when it kind of comes back around the curve, it's fun. It's really something special.
Yeah, that's why remakes are doing so well, because there's so many people like you and like me that just want to see their old games again and just play them like they were kids. And this one does it. So out of curiosity, from your perspective, without my tinted glasses, would you say a younger audience would play this game and want to play more? Or do you think that it's a little outdated and a little bit, not as catchy as newer games are, and they might not follow through on it? Because that's what I was worrying when playing these games. I was wondering if the narrative would pull newer audiences through it or not.
That is tricky, and I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, it's the thing is, I got like we've said before, I got the nostalgia of playing it again, so a lot of that is the fun for me. But if I was new and I was picking this up, I'm trying to think to myself, well, this is slow. Is this slow and kind of a grind?
It's slow,
right?
and the game design is...
Yeah.
It was revolutionary at the time, and now it feels all right, even with all the quality of life improvements.
Yeah, no.
It's not...
I do get what you mean.
Yeah, it's not what I would consider the younger generation's game.
That's it. I was thinking the same thing. I don't think this is one of the versions that's going to grab an audience and make them play the rest of the Dragon Quest games, right? No. This is just... which is kind of sad, but I think it's the reality of it. Okay, anything else narrative, or should we jump to the visuals?
Yes, no, I just had one question for the narrative.
Go on.
What did you think about the dialogue? The old English.
I wrote down here somewhere that I'm pretty sure they made up some English words that I'd never even heard of myself, because I was
newsflash, I think all Englishmen made up English words.
Yes, that's true. That's valid when there were words, I'm sure.
Little McStevenson would come running down the street and just say, mayhaps, and then everyone would say, oh, Jesus, Steven just said mayhaps, we should start using mayhaps.
They did lots of
That's
that,
how
though. They did lots of hath, mayhaps.
Yes.
Sired. Like,
I am
so,
beneatheth the rocketh. I have crusheth my leggeth.
I was at some point thinking, are these real now? I know we had languages like we spoke like this, but are they just putting oldie and like at the end of words to make English words like sound cool?
There were some words I've never even read or heard of in my life.
I kind of respect they again, most Dragon Quests are kind of set in a version of England to some degree, so there's always English and Scottish and kind of
I'd say all of them, even Dragon Quest 11, there would have been
there
was a couple of Cockney accents,
which I kind of like, but then I've got the bias from being from England.
Kinda, I love those.
So it's kind of like, again, it's coded for me anyway. But I swear some of the words weren't real. I was like, what? I don't know what you're saying, and you're speaking.
Yeah.
I'm
just telling the NPCs, oh, come off it. You made that up.
That's right. But it makes you smile, which is fun.
It does. It does. And in the end, that's what these are for. Just entertainment.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Okay, that was a good question by all accounts. Okay, visually, what did you think? The whole 2D HD thing.
I mean, since Octopath Traveler, the first one, I think 2018, the HD-2D style shines. It's glorious. It's really, really, really good what Square Enix has made with this HD 2D style, capturing the old pixel art style of those NES, SNES games, but still somehow modernizing them in today's style. It's incredible that they can look this good, but also still this nostalgic.
Yeah, it's a grey area. That's very true. It's because it's very hard not to play these with all the nostalgia, and I think to myself, I love this. I love the way it looks. A lot of it does look very, very pretty. It's got it's got that old like Golden Sun era look to it, and the ones that you really enjoyed, and it's the worlds themselves are really like fleshed out. I loved that at the beginnings when you went to different towns and stuff. It actually took that little moment. We had a little cutscene of like each area in regards to
these
it being
slow
a live
shots
city.
of the couple of buildings. Oh, and a bush. Oh, there's a tiny waterfall. Take it in. Smell the roses. Smell the roses.
The water glistening and the textures and everything are actually really good. It's not just blue with a bit of sparkle. It's blue and depth and transition and waves and all these little tiny bits that make it feel alive.
Oh, and the leaves are kind of blowing in the breeze, and it's just nice.
It is. It's
cozy, and it makes you feel warm and fuzzy.
Again, though, is this us reliving our childhood feelings to games? Do you think the visuals on this are still going to connect to new audience?
Partly, yes, partly. Because on the one end, yes, those sprites are 3 pixels.
Yes, yeah.
So yes, that is just entire nostalgia bait, and it's caught me and you, especially you, hook, line, and sinker.
Of course, yeah.
And on the other end, no. Some of these areas, of these places look incredible.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking of why we have monkey brains for dioramas.
Oh, it's very true. Yeah, I got you.
Right?
We do.
Like a little, the Lego Tudor corner. Or,
of course,
a little train playset.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Not a playset, but these big proper train sets.
Yeah. Like known locations and like the
exactly. But somebody's turned their entire basement into a train.
Yes, very cool
railway.
But yeah.
That's just a diorama.
Yeah.
The entirety of all Dragon Quest 1, 2, 3 HD-2D Remake areas are dioramas.
Oh yes, exactly. Like a ghost town, underwater place.
Exactly.
Cozy little village, a big castle, type of like those staples of adventuring by all accounts, but in little areas. Yeah.
Square Enix is somehow walking a tightrope between yes, this is nostalgic, but also very pretty and very modern.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. It's not just like like there's Deus Ex is being remade, but you can see that's just like a pixel, a cleaning and ray shading type remake where and there's a few of those games that come out now that make it look a bit better on your big screen and stuff like this. But this is a genuine remake. There's love in it. There's
yes.
color, there's life. Someone loved doing it, and it comes across in the visuals of every little area in this.
The company that kind of explained this the best was, funny enough, Bethesda, when they released the Oblivion remaster.
A bit of
everyone looked at this and said,
yes,
shut up, this is quite obviously a remake. And then Bethesda wagged their finger and said, no, this is the exact same game with just updated visuals.
Yes,
That's it. We're just forgetting how good Oblivion was.
Yeah, that's right. And people ate it up by all accounts.
Exactly.
Very, very
and
true.
they're right. They're absolutely right. This is a remake. But when we take a look at the Deus Ex remake coming along, that's not a remake. That's unfortunately
that's
just
unfortunately,
a remaster.
Agreed. It's just a weird little remaster, which is a bit sad because that's also a really popular game.
Another good one was the Dead Space remake. That was a remake.
Yes, and you're always sad because it didn't actually sell that well, which is kind of crazy by all accounts because it's a really good remake.
If anyone's listening to this, buy Dead Space so we can get a Dead Space 2 remake. Do it.
Because that is really good, no doubt.
It is.
But there's also little things in this that I can't remember if it had it in the originals, I'm sure it didn't, but I like the little slow-mo when you defeat a creature. It does that little like it reminded me of Neo from the Matrix when he hits back and he does the whole bullet time thing. Each of the little characters did like a little death throw and then disappears in like a little still frame. Was kind of cool. I did not. Okay, this is going to be a weird thing. I don't
remember that.
When you kill the slime, it's on there, and then when you do the last killing hit, it jumps backwards in an animated like stop frame and then disappears.
Yes. And
all the bad guys do that.
At which speed did you play this?
Oh, like mega speed. I'm 30 something now. I don't have time anymore.
Okay. I also played ultra fast. Okay then.
I must admit, I'll give you the normal speed is far too slow. Oh my god.
Way too slow.
The normal speed is so slow.
And the original was probably even slower than that.
Oh, it was super slow. It was. It's painful now trying to do it.
Oh no.
I got a weird take. The armor in Dragon Quest II of you is so much worse than in Dragon Quest 1.
Armor?
In Dragon Quest 1 you got that classic
blue
helmet,
the horned helmet
shield,
and the cape.
Right? The next one you've got a blue like flat cap, kind of like
you look like an aviator or something.
Yes, you do. You look like you should be in a plane, which I'm like, what? No. Where's the cool stoic badass that I'm supposed to be?
You're right. Yes, okay. Out of Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3, you definitely look a little bit dorky.
You do. You look goofy. It's hard to be the savior of like all mankind and be wearing this like, these flaps.
Yeah, and you look like a little nerd. I get that because you look cool in 1, and in 3 you've got that spiky really Goku hair situation.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. Yeah, that got me a little bit. But another little thing I didn't even notice, which was clever in visuals, right? In this game, much like Final Fantasies and other games like it, bad guys have weaknesses to elements, be it fire, water, lightning, all that, right? I didn't notice this, but depending on which spell you toggle, be it crack, zap, or something like that, the indicator on the creature you select will go red when it's super effective, so to speak, and will go blue when it won't be. So you can actually learn which creatures are weak to what by just kind of like selecting and seeing. So it kind of adds this. I didn't even notice that, but it is actually a kind of handy little
same. That's a great visual device.
Yeah, and it does not exist in any of the other ones because it's a slog running through all your magic and noticing like 4 out of the 5 they were super like resilient to, and now I'm dead. So but now I know I should be using zap after I have to reload the save from 6 hours ago. Sorry, trauma coming up in my invite. But that was cool.
I like that. That's great. That's a little quality of life improvement visually.
Yes, agreed.
That this game's added.
This, like I said, this game, nostalgia-wise, it's very pretty. It's very cool. But I say that from a massive background of loving these games. Even you said it's very pretty, but you are also not that much younger than I am, so you've also got a degree of nostalgia, I think.
I do. I absolutely do. This style, the style. I might not have played the Dragon Quest games, but I have put a considerable amount of time in the 2D Final Fantasy games. Final Fantasy 4 and Final Fantasy 6.
I wonder what the Call of Duty kids and the Battlefield 6 kids, does this still appeal to them? I hope so. I massively hope so.
I hope so as well. I don't think so, though. I can tell you what they think about this game.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No, granted, I must admit the remake of the next Dragon Quest that's coming out, that with all the 3D, that looks really cool. I hope that gets people's attention as well.
Oh, Dragon Quest 7.
Yes, I do think this one might just slip under the radar a bit because it's not updated enough. It's not 3D. Where's my special textures and rain effects and light and stuff like that? But it's a very pretty game. It's very sad. Anything else visually?
I think the majority of the visuals for the Dragon Quest 1, 2, 3 HD-2D Remake are in the fact that they are these special HD-2D games like... Oh, what are the other ones? Octopath Traveler.
Yeah.
Triangle Strategy.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Unicorn Overlord. No, not Unicorn Overlord.
No. There is another one, though. You're right.
I can't remember what
Isn't there one just coming out that's got that same style? I
cannot remember
anyway,
at all.
Go on, continue. Sorry.
I think that the majority of the visuals are in the fact that they look like this. So incredibly unique and very niche. I think that's the other one we're kind of forgetting. This is very niche.
Yeah. It's just niche enough that it might sell enough to make it warranted, especially in the East. But yeah, I agreed. I do think this is kind of a niche genre now.
I just think I kind of just have a question, really. Do you prefer this one or do you prefer the visuals of Octopath Traveler 2? Because I think that's the other biggest hitter.
This is what kind of hurts for Octopath Traveler 2.
Oh.
There's something about it. There's something about the kind of...
Yeah.
The 2D kind of novel come to life type aspect of those visuals and stuff.
Yeah.
There's just something about it. For some reason, I do stray towards the Octopath.
Do you think it could have been the game design? Because that's got updated game design. This is still, even with all the quality of life improvements, 80s game design.
Yes, and it is, again, Octopath is a little bit more adult. You're taking on barons and thieves and stuff. You are taking on Drakes and slimes a lot of the time, so it's a bit more
get what
kind
you mean.
Of kiddish type atmosphere. Still fun.
It is.
But Octopath is a bit more adult.
I understand the impact that Akira Toriyama's had on the industry. Probably the biggest that any other person has ever had.
Yeah, pretty massive.
But his style, while great and excellent and influential, does come across a bit, what's the word you used? Kiddish?
Yeah, it is kiddish. It's kind of endearing when an old man is making kiddish games because you're like, hey, he's got... And it is. And it is aimed at our inner children to some degree, right?
Yeah.
It's not really... But yeah, there is something very Dragon Ball Z fun and not that dangerous, even though some of the story does get kind of adult. But yeah, there's something that's always stuck in the era of like the 80s, 90s with it, by all accounts.
Okay.
Right. Audio, what did you think?
Audio, the first thing that I'd like to mention here is that the soundtrack for these games are absolutely gorgeous. They are
Isn't it
phenomenal.
Insane? Yeah, it still blows me away.
Yeah, every piece is orchestrated with a symphonic orchestra. Not just any, but the Tokyo Metropolitan Symphony Orchestra, the same one they used for Dragon Quest XI, and it is so beautiful. Even if there's no voice acting, even if some of the sound effects are the old sound effects, which is the right choice, the soundtrack, the music is beautiful. That is the word I'd use. It's so pretty, meticulous, and it's from, what's his name? I can't remember his first name. I only wrote down Sugiyama.
Koichi?
Koichi Sugiyama is...
Yeah, that's right.
They're using his classics to kind of reimagine.
Yeah, sadly he died only a handful of years ago. So I don't think anybody could rightfully touch them and change them, because I think people would lose their minds, because again, this is the music itself is also a part of so many people's childhood. It's hearing a song again for the 20th time.
If there's a franchise, I'd put my money on respecting its heritage. it's
Yeah.
Dragon Quest.
Oh no, undoubtedly. Like I said, if this were one step out of line, there would be so many people angry about it. Because
But even not just people's, I don't think they do it because based on how people would react. They do it because they know that's what this franchise deserves.
yes, the respect of it and himself
Exactly.
and the game franchise itself. Now. But, and
Exactly.
it is, we are kind of both kind of big orchestra heads by all accounts. We do love a symphony more than most. And it is, it's so funny to have a little game, Dragon Quest, where you're just a guy and it's cutesy and you got little drakies and slimes. But then you've got this huge orchestra just playing the kind of most of the time happy music or quiet town or
what
big
would be
volcano or
otherwise a big old symphony if it was written in any other point in the past.
yes, that's right. And it's just
It's true. I mean, these town themes, overworld music, the battle tunes, they all hit the right nostalgic notes.
It is really, especially I'm sure from your ear. I listen to it and go, "Fuck, that's a lot of instruments." But it's crazy to think how many instruments are actually being played at this one moment just to do the theme as you get to the town, right?
Even
it's nice.
I managed to hear in the overworld music that they are using in the bassier instruments. The lower instruments, they are using an audio device called an Alberti bass.
Okay.
It means that they are jumping in between the different points of a triad. So it'll play the tonic, then it'll play the dominant, then the mediant, then the dominant again, before returning to the tonic.
Okay.
After it repeats that entirely. And if you play those with the lower instruments, it becomes what's known as an Alberti bass, or what it's more commonly known as a walking bass.
Oh, okay, makes sense in regards to the
Exactly,
overworld,
and
right?
I found that so fitting to have that device play when you are walking around in the overworld.
Yeah, that's so clever. Isn't that? Again, I wouldn't have known this without like you cutting it down. But that's such a. I love the idea they made music and they were like, okay, the overworld. What do you do in the overworld? You walk around a lot. Okay, so I'll make the music walk around a lot centric, right?
I must admit, I might be reading into it a tad too much.
Well, we all do that. But
Maybe
it was an accident.
I find it so fun. And it's really excellent. It's glorious listening to this music while playing this game. I don't understand how people turn off the sound when playing the games so they can listen to their favorite streamer.
Yeah. I guess we're getting old. But I do agree. You are taking away a lot of the game by turning off the audio.
You really are. You really, really are. Besides the music, which is truly excellent, I would go sit down for a concert in a concert hall to just listen to an orchestra play this
I'm very envious
suite.
of all the places that have those in regards to video games, right? Those concerts, California, and they must be so good. And what's go on? Sorry.
Do you think this game has enough voice acting?
I wrote that same thing down, and again, I'm trying to be like I've got the it's a great game, and then I try to think, okay, ladies and gents, in this game, the voice acting only appears like in the main narrative cues of the game in regards
not even sometimes during the main narrative,
which is no, it doesn't. To be honest with you, right?
Objectively, it could be better.
Yes, it could. There isn't enough, and in today's standards of games, there are so many there's so many games that are fully voice acted now. It is kind of sad they didn't just fill it out more because, again, there's a disconnect. Everyone in town talks to you, but it's just on the screen, it's text. And then
that is exactly what it is.
And then you go talk to her and it's, oi, governor, what are you doing here? It's a bit like, where was that when I was being greeted at town, right? I do believe I do have that same problem when I listen to it. I wish it was all voice acted, and it's not, sadly, and it's hard not to degrade it for that. Did you know something interesting though? In Dragon Quest 2, Prince Canuck, the one you take his sister to go find.
Yeah, you take his sister and then you kind of run after him.
Do you know who voices him? You won't get it straight away because it's not like none of the voice actors in this were super famous by all accounts, but they did a goodish job. This was a guy called Andrew Dennis.
No, I was going to say Chris Pratt.
Well, yes, he voices everyone now by all accounts.
Andrew Dennis.
It was actually a character from Metaphor ReFantasio.
No way!
Which I know you know because he has a good storyline. I was just wondering, it's very hard. It's very hard to put you on the hot seat now and say, what, you didn't know those little bits of dialogue and instantly recognize his voice?
Wait, Andrew Dennis, pray tell, did he have a Liverpudlian accent in Metaphor?
No, it's not that easy. He did not have a Liverpudlian accent. No. I can't remember his accent in it, but it was, I'm guessing what I remember, it was kind of posh. He had a very tragic story.
Was it English?
Yes. Very tragic story.
Then it must have been Stroll.
Who's Stroll?
No.
I'm asking you these questions. Which one's Stroll? Oh, the little bat. No. Is that Stroll? No, that's Heisme. Who's Stroll?
Stroll! It's your guy. Tall man.
Oh, Stroll. No, he is Liverpudlian. He's the long-haired lover from Liverpool, right?
No, that's Basilio.
Oh, who's Stroll then? Who's the... I don't know. What did he look like? You know, I'm a descriptive guy.
Stroll is the one you start the game with I didn't
like him.
The military.
I didn't like him. The first guy you have.
Yes, the first guy you meet.
I do know you. Okay, I do know who you mean. It's not him, and I didn't actually like him as a character much. I thought he was.
Okay, who is this then?
Who had the most tragic side story thing to boost your I can't even what it's called now.
The most tragic side story. For a confidant. It was Heisme.
Okay, yeah, go. Sorry, I'm leading it because you're right. That was super tragic. Okay, who died?
Oh, Fidelio.
True, not that one. Who also
Dave,
died?
What's going on?
Who died? Trying to save his mother, get medicine, but the landlord screwed him, and then he put his life on the line to confuse the landlord. There it is. Sorry, I obviously forgot all the confidence.
You've forgotten half of Metaphor.
I obviously did, because I thought, Alonso. Yeah, I remember him. He's the guy who died.
Of course, Alonso. The Nidia.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Okay, there you go. Obviously down the wrong road. But it was Alonso from Metaphor ReFantasio.
Okay, so Prince Canuck's the same voice actor as Alonso from Metaphor.
Yes,
that's
which is kind of cool, right? That is kind of cool. I like that. But all the other voice actors did a fairly decent job, but they're all kind of like... in the latest Barbie episode, a couple characters in like Batman.
That's fine. That's completely fine.
But everybody has to start off somewhere, and I think they do a fairly decent job. I think the voice acting is quite decent.
No, this is great. I thoroughly enjoyed the voice acting.
Anything else audio, or should we go into the legendary gameplay?
Time's getting a bit tight. Let's move to gameplay.
Yeah.
So...
go on, sorry.
For better or for worse...
Yeah.
I think the gameplay is, besides some quality of life improvements, sticking... to the originals.
Yes. Is that a good thing though?
I don't... In the first one, no.
Yeah.
The first Dragon Quest where you're just a man.
You are.
No.
The problem with this game, because it's sticking to the same recipe as the old games, this game evolves around grinding. It evolves around you just going outside and doing like 50 battles to level up. To be able to... Because some of the fights are hard. Some of the fights you will lose multiple times because
I had to go
just
grind
over-leveled.
Just a little bit to go fight the big brute that stole the thief's key.
Yes, and a lot of the time, I kind of like luck-based it because there's a move called Cop-Out where you could reflect their damage back at them, and that was sometimes a lot more damage than I was laying out, so I just risked it. But this game is... Again, it's hard for me to moan because it's just sticking to the originals, which is great, but it's not the most fun all the time to just like...
It's not.
Grind and
it's
get
not. No, unfortunately, this is a remake of the first and second Dragon Quest. The first one, no. Yeah. It's... They were made a ton of improvements. They made it go much faster. I think they fixed the balancing...
Yes.
For the most part.
The first one, it was just a one-on-one with bad guys. You never had three slimes, 5 slimes, 6 slimes. It was only ever a one-on-one because of all limitations on hardware. You couldn't put on, it would load incredibly slow if you had 8 and all that stuff in regards. So they actually did do tons of improvements. They added mini medals. Those weren't in the originals. They added torches now illuminated the caves instead of the... You know, like in Pokemon when you use flash and you just have that little circle around you?
Yes.
In regards to moving around. That was insane in Dragon Quest games because you didn't have a map either, and some of the caves were just massively complex.
Ooh.
So you would be walking around for hours trying to find the way. They fixed that. Objective markers never used to exist, but that was one of the problems kind of with Dragon Quest. You wouldn't know where to go. You just wouldn't. It would be so like, oh, but you didn't go meet the boy down the well in that town 3 towns past, and you didn't get the smithing stone, so now you can't do anything.
Thank God you shit out of luck.
Markers. Yeah, because
that I kind of figured. That I figured because objective markers weren't there in the 80s. That's a very 2000s thing.
That's right. And there's checkpoint saves in regards to battles, so you don't have to, like me, lose hours upon hours progress in the old ones.
Of course, no auto saves.
Yes,
back in the day.
It was brutal back in the day. Even one weird thing in Dragon Quest II, Prince Canuck was actually super weak. Like he wasn't even a glass cannon. He was just weak. He used to die all the time. He just wasn't a good character. He was just an anchor, a stone, so to speak. But in this game, they actually they fluffed him out now. He actually has strong qualities, and actually, so
that's what I meant.
They
fixed the majority of the balancing issues.
Yes, they really have. They have made it better,
making the battles balanced, improving your teammates, making the enemies far less able to trample over you.
Yes, exactly. Which again. To allow newer audiences, because the old school playing would just make people rage quit and stop and
they would
develop further.
I mean, I'm not entirely convinced that it was as fun back then. I just think it was a case of it was all there was.
Agreed. It was the latest thing. Yeah.
It was the latest thing. It was new, and there weren't many other games, but I mean, this is the best we've got. 4 out of 10 fun is still better than 3 out of 10
No,
fun.
exactly. That's exactly right. And it's very hard to play these games and not kind of realize that in regards to, again, like we said, the narratives are okay, but they're not, it's light versus dark. Then the gameplay can be a bit grindy, so it's kind of, it makes you wonder how much of this is going to pull the newer generation of gamers all the way through to the end.
I've got a question just about a game mechanic. Did you have the Chimera wing in the 80s in the original versions of these games?
In the very original ones, yes, I think you did.
Really? Could you use the Chimera wing to fast travel all over the world?
I don't think so. Back in the day, I think the Chimera Wing was designed to get you out of dungeons, but that might be wrong, because back in the day, the original animation where you flew upwards, you actually used to hit the ceiling and fall back down because you weren't allowed to do it inside.
Oh.
So I think it used to fly you back to the last town you were at. You weren't allowed to choose. I think it just flew you back to the last town. But I might be wrong about that now. Because now it flies you practically everywhere, and so does your magic, the teleport or fly.
And you can even do it from inside.
Yes, you can do it from inside caves now, just for easement. By all accounts.
Quality of life improvements have made this game 1 and 2 extremely playable.
Yes, far easier than any of the originals ever were.
Yes, I do think the game design is still holding it back.
Yes, that's sadly true, and I even say that with my rose-tinted glasses. It is being held back, and it's sad. I'm still completing both these games, but that is my nostalgia kicking in because I want to play the games I played as a kid and get them done again.
And that's fine. That's fine. Hey, if you're listening to Critical Arcade and you want an unbiased, objective view on the latest games and what they offer, get out of here.
That's very true. But at least we tell you. We know our biases, and we tell you if they are. But out of curiosity, would you honestly finish these games now, compared with all the other games that are coming out and all the things that are coming out?
No, with all the other games coming out, no, because a couple of weeks before this, I bought Cyberpunk and the Alan Wake 2 DLC. Of course, I'm not playing this because I want to shit my pants playing Alan Wake 2 again.
And that's the problem. There's so many carrots on a string out there. You got to go for the biggest carrot, right? The one that's like, oh no, I really want to play this one.
Not necessarily the tastiest, but the one you'll have a good time with.
Sadly, I think this falls for that same thing. There are just too many other carrots, too many other sweets to try out there. This one's not going to keep you for too long. Which is sad.
At least it's not going anywhere. In about 30 years' time, if they've not remade it again, we can still play this.
Exactly. And that's always the fun part from people in my position and others who love the games. And like you,
Yes.
maybe you'll pick it up again one day. But
Yes.
yeah, it doesn't really have the legs nowadays, which is a bit of a shame.
No.
Anything performance-wise you thought was weird?
I think weird? No.
Yeah.
I think Square Enix has made a good attempt at making this look good, but also run at a stable frame rate across platforms.
True,
I can't
yeah.
remember. Did this even release on the Switch? Switch 2, sure.
Switch 2, yes. Switch
Yeah.
1, I'm not entirely sure. You're right.
No,
I've
I
seen it
don't
on the
think so.
shelves and like the box art, but I can't remember if it was for both of them or not.
Yeah.
The only thing about... Go on.
The last thing regarding performance, I am a tiny bit surprised by the load times for this.
Yes! I wrote that down too.
Yeah.
And I am trying to kind of like sway this to the positive, right?
Yeah.
In my mind, right, when you died, it took a really long time to bring up the menu to rematch, continue from church, or go back to main screen, right?
It was quite a while.
And it
Your
also
sprite in the bottom right corner was walking for a while.
Right? And saves kind of took really long.
Yeah,
Now-
it's not like it's much longer than other games.
No.
It's just the fact that this doesn't look like other games. This is a sprite on
Yeah,
a
it's...
admittedly beautiful open field. It shouldn't be loading that long.
Now, the thing is, I was... This is my cope, by all accounts. I was thinking, like... Is it trying to mimic old games? Because it used to take ages to save on the Game Boy and the SNES too. It really did took freaking ages.
No.
And I was thinking, oh no, that's just big brain. They're just making the saving experience the same as in the 80s so that people can enjoy
Dave,
it
that's
again.
your cope speaking. That's
It
copium.
really is. Because I'm like, it took an absurd... Like, we are so used to our solid-state drives and all the things now. Save, quickly,
Yeah.
load, everything's... And this took eternities. I swear. I was like... Am I
Well, it
supposed to be
felt like,
pressing
I
A?
don't know. I think it felt like eternities because
I think we're
a
just
game that
impatient.
looks like this,
Yes, shouldn't take that
beautiful
long.
but basic, should not be loading
you know-
as long as something like...
Do you know what
No,
also
God of
does
War
it is
didn't even
Pokemon
load
games.
this long.
Pokemon games also take ages to save, and I've never really understood that. This just does the same thing. It always takes a really long... Again, I wrote it down as a performance issue because it was
Yeah.
weirdly jarring to be like,
Yeah.
can I press next yet? I want to press, like, continue journey part. Yes
what
or
about
no?
now?
Come
What
on.
about now?
Yeah, it was weird. I don't know why,
I get
but
it.
it was a bit kind of like you said, it's not a graphically intense game that it should take a long time to save.
No, it isn't.
So that was a bit weird. Performance-wise, it's the only thing I got. Like you said, the frame rates were fine.
Yeah,
There
same.
wasn't-
I don't
again,
have-
it's
I
not
don't
pushing the hardware at all, is it? So
Much
of
else.
course
I
it's going to be
think
fine.
besides the loading and saving, which is odd, Square Enix otherwise did a good job optimizing
Yeah.
this game.
Very true. Very true. Okay, so value for money, what do you think?
Easy. Good. Easy. Good value for money.
Right?
This
so
is
you're kinda
a
getting
single
two
purchase.
games. Yeah.
Yeah. And you get 2 complete JRPGs in one package.
Yeah, and this across the board is coming out about 60, kind of, which is kind of the norm now, I suppose, 60 to 70. So it's not an insane price off the bat. Again, Square Enix games do eventually kind of come down later on. It does take a year or so, so by all means, maybe pick it up a bit later. You are getting 2 games, I'd argue.
That is exactly my point. I don't feel bad kind of recommending this at full retail price.
Yeah.
Because that's like $30 per JRPG.
Yeah, and the first game, if you're like doing like a proper playthrough, can take about 30 to 40 hours. Which, if you think about how old this game is, that's kind of beefy for like an
That's
old
a lot of game. That's a lot of
story.
game.
Um,
Again,
and-
I usually do have the sentiment that if it doesn't matter how long it is,
True. Yeah, it's true.
if those hours are valuable,
yeah,
you can
really
have
enjoy
30
them.
hours
That's
of
right.
nothing
That's right.
or 10 hours of peak goodness.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But like you said, price point 60. It's cool. It's a good remaster of a classic. Lots of nostalgia just hidden in there. It's kind of I always like. You know, I'm sure much like I like to do a fast-paced game. And sometimes I like to play a slow-paced game. This is a slow-paced game. This is kind of a chill out, just relax, do a few quests or a bit of grinding, then
That
go to bed.
really is the case. Yeah, we mentioned this at the start. This is the cozy JRPG.
Yes, this is the cozy JRPG. This isn't the
comfort food.
Yeah, exactly. And if that's your type of thing, by all means, if you are into JRPGs, this is a classic. It's a historical one. It's one that if you really want to dive in, this is one that one should go for. But if you're looking for something a bit more modern or a bit more intense or just a kind of bit more grown up, I'd say there are tons of like newer ones. Like you said, Octopath Traveler, Triangle Strategy, hell, even Live or Live Alive. I don't really know.
That's the other one. Yeah. Live Alive.
Yeah, I don't know which one it is. I've never actually really worked that one out. They're a bit more same premise, but a lot more adults and kind of got better like.
There's another one coming next year. Looks like a great game with a dumb name.
Yes, that's the one I've been trying to think of because it does
the
have a dumb name.
Adventures of Elliot.
Yes, of someone.
The Millennium something.
Is that it?
Millennium Tales.
Yes.
Something.
It really had a weird ass name. I was thinking, wow, that's not catchy at all.
So good. It looks
good. It looks good.
But
it's
great. Got such a lame name.
It is the weirdest. I don't know if that was like a lost in translation type name thing, which sometimes happens from the east to the west. But that is a weird ass name for a game. But anyway, this game, $60, not bad. I think, like I said, it will eventually discount Square Enix Dragon Quest games. They will eventually go on sale at some point. This is definitely, I think it's a game to pick up. What did we score this bad boy anyway? I didn't really check.
Our scores for Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD-2D Remake, speaking of names, grew up in the town of the Kingdom of Moonbrook, which is a quaint little kingdom. A lot of people agree, but unfortunately one day got attacked by loads of fiends. These fiends did not let up, and the town of Moonbrook unfortunately got ruined, destroyed, never to be lived in again, which is unfortunate. But thankfully, one of our scores escaped to go warn the town of, what's it called again? Mildenhall?
Yes.
Thanks, Dave. The town of Mildenhall, but once it got there, it toppled over and people saw it turn into the Let's Regret rating of B-.
Which is actually kind of great with a game that's so old, redone to kind of fit in the market we kind of have now. B- is a good game. It's better than
B- is a good game. And if we take into account it into our scoring system, B- is not C, not D, not F.
No.
It's a B-, which is a good score.
Same thing with
someone the other day said B- is odd because we say it's good, but it's not an A.
Well, yeah. Still.
No. A is for, the perfect games. This is good.
That's exactly right. It's a very weird like analogy to think like B- or B's in regards to like your SATs, GCSEs, your general test scores gets you into a lot of fairly prestigious colleges and universities still. It's still up there. It's something like the 80 percentile I think is fundamentally a B.
It is.
Which is well, by all accounts, if you got higher standards, by all accounts, but like you said, by all accounts, A is pretty much the highest score you can get on our list because A+ does not exist because it would have to be the perfect existence of game.
Yes, there is
somehow
zero reason to make any video game after an A+ video game.
Yes, that's right. We should all just stop. Yeah, just give up and say, oh, they've done it. The industry's finished. They've made
the perfect video game.
So yeah, B-, a great score by all accounts. Definitely a recommended.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Critical Arcade Podcast. If you'd be so kind, leave a review or a comment or share this episode if there's someone you know who likes Dragon Quest or likes old games or likes listening to two white dudes glaze. Send this episode to them.
Yeah, exactly. I want to know that demographic now, to be honest with you. I want people to share who likes to. Yeah, that's a weird one to check out there. I want to know the numbers.
And after you've done all that, subscribe to us on YouTube.
Yes,
Dave,
please do.
Where can we follow you?
Oh, you can find me out and about, but fortunately in playing these games and knowing where's and two throws of what I can do, I managed to get hold of the Thief's Key and the Bottomless Pot. And if you were to follow me, I will somehow either follow you home, find your location, I will break in at night with my thieves' key, and I will put the bottomless pot into your bathroom, your toilet, in the seat of the toilet. So when you unconsciously wake up at 7, 6 in the morning, you're yawning, you're taking your cup of coffee into the bathroom, you sit down on the toilet seat, the bottomless pot will activate, and it will suck your butt cheeks into it and never let go. You will perpetually be a human stuck in a pot.
What is this?
Right? That's you will be a pot person. Less legs and torso and a cup of coffee. Right?
I was not
doesn't sound like
this.
a life you want by all accounts, right?
No.
Unless, you want to be a weird little pot person by all accounts. I guess you could claim disability by all accounts if that's the way you want to go. But by all means, follow me and find out if that's an enjoyable thing.
Don't do it.
Not.
It's a trap, ladies and gents. He'll do it. I know him.
Yeah, that's right. I will. I'll do it.
Rather. Dave, how about you tell us what have we got lined up for next week?
Well, next week we get a return back to our Indie 500, and we play a game that I'd never heard of. I don't think Nick had ever heard of, called Backbone, which I initially pictured like a wrestling game or something brutal, or kind of like, or even like Surgeon Simulator. But no, it's kind of like a 2D Monkey Island point and click, right?
Detective game, but everyone's an animal.
Yeah, very cool. There's like lots of Beastars, lots of animes doing that type of thing at the moment, where everything's an animal. It looks cool because it's like a Dick Tracy / Beastars point and click, which again me and Nick have kind of a history with Monkey Island and Day of the Tentacle and all the other Blade Runner. So it's fun to go back to an old type of game genre that we haven't had in a long time. And it looks really cool. It really does look like a fun game to play. So I look forward to it.
If you want to listen to us talk about Backbone for an hour and maybe more, tune in next week. We'll see you then. Cheers.
Cheers.